Welcome, everybody, to another episode of the Raw Recap on Pro Wrestling Sheet. I am your host, John Rocha, joined as always by the editor-in-chief of Pro Wrestling Sheet, Ryan Satin. How are you, man?
I'm doing great. I'm busy. It's a crazy morning with all this NXT news.
Yeah.
NXT is officially moving to USA Network starting next month. 2 hours live. Why does that make you mad?
I'm not mad. I'm saying it's the WWE.
I'm so confused by this fan anger towards this.
I'm saying it's the WWE going like boom, boom, boom to AEW. That's what I mean. It's the bully beating up the new kid. But I also don't understand that because I've been so. Of course, it's competition. It's business.
No, but I've been confused by this whole like counter programming thing. Does everyone like forget that NXT's been on Wednesday for like years, like since 2015?
No, of course, but this is going to give it a wider audience.
Totally,
you know. And what we're saying is, if you don't know the news, right? If you haven't read the news, WWE announced that WWE NXT will go to USA for a 2-hour show starting 5 p.m.
I already said this.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Yeah, I did. I said live starting next month. 2-hour show.
Okay.
But it's still going to take place from Full Sail. They're not quite going on the road with it yet. Takeovers are still going to be on the network,
right?
And NXT TV will be available on WWE Network the following day.
Okay.
So you can, instead of watching it on Wednesdays on the network, you can watch it on Thursdays on demand if you want there.
That's better than Raw and SmackDown get.
That is way better than Raw and SmackDown get. So
it's frustrating.
But I've been confused with this whole I saw Chris Jericho tweeting. He tweeted something, and I'm not trying to like throw shade at Chris Jericho.
Don't start again.
I know. That's why
you just put it all back together.
I'm trying to preface that. I said,
don't burn that bridge.
But I've been a little confused of just the like. He said, this is what he said. Where is it? Wait, did he already delete it?
Raw is Jericho.
Oh, he said, congrats to the NXT for making the big move to the USA Network. Runners always race faster when somebody is right behind them. Gonna be fun to see which team in the world decides to join. But, like, NXT's been on Wednesday since 2015. Like, technically...
What are you missing here? I'm confused what you're upset about.
Because people are acting like NXT is like following AEW's lead. When if anything, they're like, no, we just don't want to have... Like, if you're going to be... If someone's coming on our territory of Wednesday night, we just want to be on a bigger platform so more people watch us.
That's what it means, but that's what I'm saying.
But everyone's acting like they're following AEW. Like this is like they're doing this as if like it's like, oh, that's shady of WWE.
It is, because it's basically WWE admitting that we see competition, legitimate competition from AEW. We want to crush that competition, so we are moving NXT off our public access channel and putting them on the main channel. We're going from AM to FM with NXT, and that matters. So,
but that's
a reaction, and it's a smart reaction.
It's
a smart reaction.
But it's also, but.
To say it was on NXT is on the network, but like how many people are really watching NXT on the network?
Lots of people are watching.
Yeah, sure, there's lots, but not like to the level that you're watching on a Raw or SmackDown on those channels.
No.
So by giving it a wider audience,
it's a smart move.
Of course it is, but it is a reactionary move to what AEW is doing.
But it's because AEW came onto their territory on Wednesday nights where they are already an established show.
I don't know if you come onto someone's territory if you're not even on a cable channel.
That's like saying if like Hulu drops a show every Wednesday or something like that it's not in contention with all the shows that are on TV every Wednesday. That's not true.
Yeah, I see your points. I think Hulu has a bigger...
And if Hulu had a really dope show, they're like, well, shit. Like, we should probably get this on television because people aren't seeing that we have a superior show in there.
I think Hulu is fair, but
it's the same thing.
I don't know if Hulu drops. Hulu drops.
Hulu does weekly shows, don't they?
I think they drop all at once and same thing, but they don't do weekly shows. I
only have Netflix, so I'm not sure. Amazon Prime. Is Amazon Prime, don't they do weekly shows?
No, they drop everything.
No, one of those things does weekly shows. No, not all of them. Some of them do weekly now.
Yeah, but it's not like weekly for 20 weeks. It's like 8 or 6 or 10.
A lot of them do weekly now.
All right, you got to tell me which ones they are because you can't back up. Okay.
Well, I know like that, although I don't have it, but those DC shows, they were all weekly or whatever on the DC platform. They weren't all dropped at the same time.
Right, but there were only 12 episodes or 10 episodes. So I'm saying there's a limited runs where this is all time.
Well, yeah.
This is every week.
Yes.
So there's a difference here, I think. But I get your point. I get why you take umbrage with that situation. But I also get the other side of it is that people feel like, God, will you just let them breathe a little bit? AEW, why do you want to crush them?
But AEW went on their day.
Not on their day.
Yes, it is their day. That's what they've been established in 2015.
I guess, but it's also cable versus streaming, and there's just a difference.
But there's
just a difference.
Exactly, which is why they're coming to TV, because someone came on encroached onto their territory.
If Southwest Missouri State plays on Fox Sports 1, but Notre Dame goes on Wednesdays, and then Notre Dame goes and plays on ABC, Notre Dame isn't going on their day.
You've lost me with the sports talk now. I don't understand the sports analogies. The second you said Notre Dame, I was like, woo, woo.
Fair enough. Anyway, I see both sides of this, and I get the fans' reaction, but I also think this is a smart move by the WWE. This is business.
Yeah, of course.
You want to run with the big dogs? Let's see what you got. But I think AEW should be encouraged by the fact that WWE is making these decisions, because it means like they take you seriously. And by doing this, they let the fans subconsciously or consciously look at AEW as a serious contender. So this may blow up in their face. This may bite them in the ass for WWE. We'll see. Either way, competition breeds better matches, better storylines, a better product. So I
just have a hard time thinking that it's going to bite them in the ass, as you say, when nobody has a problem with the NXT product. Like, the fans watching it love the NXT product.
Will they change it once
they're not going to?
Okay.
I already put up the story this morning. Like, I've been talking with sources. It's not going to change.
Okay.
Like, they're putting the show that is on on the WWE Network, on TV, television, they're adding an extra 30 minutes to the show. That's not like they're massively why would they massively overhaul their successful show?
Absolutely.
Just to appease Vince for some reason. Vince is smart. I know people want to think Vince isn't,
Vince
but
is smart.
A smart dude. He's not, he didn't let Triple H build this successful third brand that's different and unique to them.
Right.
Just to change it once they found success.
Yep. I find this fascinating too, because now you'll have Triple H, Eric Bischoff, and Paul Heyman in charge of these three brands, with Vince, of course.
It also explains why Triple H wasn't given the control that everyone was confused about a few months ago.
Good point. Yeah,
which he still was control before. We're gonna get into Raw now, because we only we got limited time here. But this show, from what I was told too, I got to figure out how much involvement Vince had. But Vince was not at Raw yesterday.
Okay.
And so this show was, it was pitched by the normal people, but it was pitched to Triple H, Heyman, and Kevin Dunn.
Wow.
And Heyman was sitting at the big table, the main table where like Vince would be sitting and stuff. So not in his seat, but like in the same table or whatever. So I felt like it was a very strong Raw. I felt like it was fresh to me. Whole show felt fresh. I loved it.
Okay, fair enough. This Raw that we just talked about. Okay, cool.
Did you not?
I liked it, but I didn't love it.
Okay.
And so we'll talk about it. And let's get into Roman. It's from St. Paul, Minnesota. Roman Reigns comes out, does his thing, and they recap all the attacks that Reigns has been through. I wish they'd stop showing the thing, and I just really wish they'd stop with that. I hate that old sequence. Everything else with the car is great, but not this. And of course, we get introduced that Jerry the King Lawler is working as a third man on
vacation.
Yeah, what's going on with Graves? He's just on vacation.
He's on vacation, apparently.
I would
pre-approved.
never ever take vacation if I worked at WWE. Never. It would be so much fun. Anyway, we carry on who's attacking. We get a little Buddy Murphy stuff, and then Ziggler comes out to push his narrative about how it should have been him all along and all this kind of stuff. And then him and Reigns get into a match. So before we get to the match, what do you think about this whole intro between these guys? And Ziggler's coming out, for God's sakes.
I felt like Roman had this nice vibe about him. I was into the Roman's vibe. He kind of he seemed real energetic and pumped when he came out and stuff. I was into it. The Ziggler thing is just, I don't know what it is. Just
it bothers you, doesn't it?
It's starting to get that way for me. And I can't tell if it's like heel heat that I'm like, it's working, or if it's like not. The match was really good.
The match was good.
The match was a really good match between the two of them.
Close near falls from Ziggs.
A lot.
Which I was really surprised by. His catching Famouser on the spear.
So dope.
That was bad.
Loved it.
Yeah, so what a shock. Well, see, a new kid comes on the block and all of a sudden the product is elevated. This is fun.
Well, it's like I said, I don't dislike anything Dolph does in the ring. Dolph's a great wrestler. He's such
fantastic.
A good wrestler. He could wrestle in his sleep and he'd put on a good match.
Yeah, it's amazing.
I just don't enjoy the current character being given to him.
What would you want to see from him to change, maybe a slight adjustment? Because it doesn't seem like all of it isn't working for you. It's just certain things, it seems like.
I don't know.
A new song, a new narrative?
Yeah, I think
where he isn't just complaining why
my problem is that they gave him the time away only to bring him back to have him do the exact same thing. Like, you could have refreshed the Dolph Ziggler character. You could have changed the music. You could have changed some stuff. You could have done something different.
Right.
And instead, it's just been the exact same thing we've always seen from Dolph Ziggler. And I genuinely believe that he has more range than that. They just, this is where they see him, and they don't want to do more with him.
Well, it's also where he sees himself, right? I mean, he can push on his end, can't he?
More than that.
He's got to push.
I'm sure he's been trying.
Yeah, that's fair.
He also seems like he's really been trying, and this is just what they want.
Is he a Heyman guy? Do you think he's a Heyman guy?
Not that I know of.
Okay. I wonder if that's part of it too now with him stepping in and take over. Like, okay, I'll play the storyline out, but it's got to be leading to something. And I wonder if maybe his constant attempts, like I said earlier, his constant attempts to do this will eventually lead to a face turn down the road where the fans get behind him. But it's not happening yet, but he's certainly putting on fantastic matches.
He always does.
Yeah.
I wonder if a face Dolph Ziggler is something that could get over again. If in the right circumstance, anything can.
Sure.
If it's written well, anything will get over. So I have faith that they can do something with Dolph still. It's just I really don't enjoy this whiny thing they're doing with him at all.
Yeah.
Not a fan of it.
That's fair. We'll see how
the match was dope.
And he didn't do the thing, though, so maybe that's off for this week where he goes, you got lucky this time.
But he had that still whiny vibe in the beginning and was back to the it should have been me stuff.
Right.
And it's just like, not feeling it.
I think if they make an adjustment where he starts going like, why can't it be me? Where it's just more of an active decision as opposed to a reactive decision with the what about me versus why can't it be me? Because then why can't it be me? Every time he loses, I think that's how the face turn happens. Every time he loses, he becomes more and more angry at himself, more and more frustrated with himself. And it's different than, what's his face that kept losing all the time? They put it on T-shirts, 250 losses.
Oh, Kurt Hawkins?
More than Kurt Hawkins. It's something more where he's like turning it into a way of like, he's frustrated that he can't get it done, and he starts to look at like I think there's a way to do face if you do it like that. Because eventually, you're right, Ryan. Why can't it be? Why wasn't it me? Will run its course and run out of gas.
It already has.
Yeah. Well, fair enough. For you, right. Let's move on to the Becky Lynch promo. But this was early. This was early in the program too. This Becky Lynch promo about Sasha. This was badass.
The greatest woman on the roster who's never been great.
Whew.
I went like, whoa, damn. Like that, whoever wrote that or wherever that came from, that was Becky or a writer or a mix of the two. I just went like, damn.
Yeah.
That's a line right there. Like that is a damn line. And I just, man, this whole thing, her delivery here, her everything, her demeanor,
the black and white kind of vibe to
her
it.
jacket hanging in the background,
the
just
belt
like belt. Her hair even looked cool. Had like a not trying to pull back, not trying hard or anything.
Looked like she just finished a workout.
Yeah, look, just finished a workout and it's like, let's do this. Let's talk some shit. You want to talk some shit? And I just, man, I loved it. I loved everything about it.
Yeah.
She just exuded such confidence, and I mean that to me is the most important thing with promo, of just like where it doesn't feel like these are scripted words. Like, like I said, I don't know if that was felt from a writer, or it was from her. And that's mainly because it was just, the delivery was so good. And it was so believable. And just everything she said in it about wanting to like, everyone to kind of come up to her level and stuff. And I just, kudos to Becky Lynch.
I think, and this is crazy. People know that I I fight in the Schmodown, and it's got that WWE vibe to it, right? Or pro wrestling vibe to it. What she said, I want to fight the best at the top of their game. Gotta be honest with you. Sometimes that's unnerving, that's unsettling when you're a person who has the belt, and I've had the belt before and lost it to someone who's on the up and up. Instead of relishing the challenge, I've been afraid at times. So hearing Becky say that, and I know it's scripted, it's blah, blah, blah. These are scripted. It was like like a switch turned on my brain. Like, this is how you need to approach things. And I love that she approached it this way, right? And it's kind of like like a life mantra. I want to be the best at what I do, and I want to defeat other people who are at their best as well to keep proving that I'm the best at what I do. That's an awesome promo.
Absolutely.
Right?
I've always felt that way. It was like one time when I was, back when I was working at TMZ, it was, it was like, someone kind of gave me the advice of like, do you want to be like a boss, or do you want to be like everyone else? Like, do you know? And like, because you can be like everyone else, like you'll be happier or whatever, but like if you want to be a boss, like you got to make decisions to change. And that was kind of like that similar mindset of like, you want to be at the top. You want people to come to the top, and if they're not at your level, then screw them. I can't use the F word anymore on here. My dad got mad at me
for saying screw him.
No, for saying the F word too much on here.
Your dad did?
My dad got mad at me. Scott Satin scolded me. He said, Ryan, it's unprofessional.
Scott Satin, who wouldn't put me on shows.
Yeah.
Screw you, Scott Satin. First Family, I should have been on that show. All right, anyway.
Jonathan Quasto always gets the parts you want.
Man, dude, yeah, and he's at NXT. All right, John Quasto. Anyway, King's Corner is next here. King's Court, I'm sorry, with King's Court.
Doesn't matter.
With Jerry Lawler coming out, which was this whole setup. This was the whole setup for Jerry coming in. They kind of hit two birds with one stone with this, moving Corey Graves on vacation, but using the Lawler stuff to lead up to King's Court, having the Fiend subdue him with the claw, and then this new kid coming in to kind of take King's spot and give him a little bit of time on TV. I like this.
Okay, so I loved this because I thought they did a good job on multiple fronts with this. I thought because they had King on commentary and because they had, had Sports Illustrated do the story that there was going to be this King's Court segment with Sasha Banks, because of all these factors, my guard was 100% down when it came to the Fiend. They're doing a really good job and it's what they want to do of you not expecting when he's going to show up.
Right.
So I really enjoyed that. I was ready. I was excited to hear what Sasha Banks was going to say.
Yeah.
It was my favorite part of last week of Raw. And I wanted to see what the follow-up was going to be. And I was surprised it was happening early in the show. I was like, well, they're going to do this Sasha Banks thing early in the show. And right after that Fire Becky promo, like, well, Sasha better bring it, you know? And so I was like very much, waiting. When King was rambling about King of the Ring, I was just thinking, like, this is what they brought King on here for? Like, this was why they brought King? And then it was like, pew, pew. And I was like, oh, this is why they brought King on here. Yes.
And King's reaction was great. Oh, I've seen this before. I'm getting out of here. And he almost makes it out of there. And then you hear him in the dark go, ah! And then boom, down under with the claw. So pretty cool.
King being smart enough to go like, oh, no, and like get out of the ring real fast. Popped me. I was laughing so hard at him. Like, oh,
Smart.
nope, seen this. Like, got to get up the ramp. Loved it. I thought, Bray Wyatt looked awesome still. I'm super into the character. I saw there was like a BS rumor out there that they're going to be toning it down because of kids. And then Bray Wyatt responded to it last night saying, like, stop spreading propaganda and get better sources or something like that. So not the case. But I was hoping, I wanted him to kind of pull out the head and just drop the lantern there because it's such a cool prop. But I understand that they need to kind of like save it for pay-per-views and stuff like that.
What if he has like the head of every person that he...
That's a lot of money.
To create one of those heads? Look, Flair spent a lot of money on those ropes.
Yeah, but that also takes a lot of advance notice.
I guess, yeah.
You know how movie prop business works. That takes a lot of work.
A Lawler head would be interesting, like with his mouth in the lantern.
I mean, but it would take a lot of work to have one for every single one.
With puppies hanging out.
He's just carrying like so many lamps when he comes out.
He just has all of them done. Any legends that are still Sergeant Slaughter one, a Red Rooster one. He's got them all.
He's basically just like that guy, the guy in Game of Thrones with all the faces.
Oh yeah, with the heads. Right? The man of many faces. That's right. That's right.
What's his name?
Jacquin, I think.
Okay, yeah. I never know those characters' names.
It's been a while since I've talked about it, so sometimes it goes in and out. Yeah. All right, so that's pretty much the end of the King. Who's the guy that comes in?
Oh, Vic Joseph. And you know what?
Vic Joseph.
I felt like Vic Joseph did a very good job on the show.
It felt near the end of the show, and we'll get to it, like Cole was stepping back to let Vic take the reins here a little bit, and I'm wondering if that's what they're setting up.
Well,
if they are, I'm mad because I want Renee to do it, but I get it.
We talked about it a few weeks ago when Cole was on Smackdown.
Yeah.
Where Cole was like kind of letting someone else take the lead, and he did it again last night. And it's funny, you're not the only person that's mentioned that to me. I've had a few people that have brought that up to me. That
it felt that way.
That it felt like he kind of took a back seat to Vic for a little while.
He gave Vic the call on the tag team champions at the end of the night.
I don't know this,
right?
But my guess is that we're going to see another shakeup of some sort.
Yeah,
prior
on the announcing team.
All over.
Okay.
Prior to the debut on Fox.
Okay.
And this isn't like inside info. This is just my hunch. I feel like it would make the most sense that there would be some sort of shakeup, especially with NXT going to USA now.
Yeah.
They could also include NXT in it. Shuffle some guys back to NXT who are being lesser used.
Yeah.
Vice versa. They could just They could do a lot of shuffling of things.
What will happen with Ronaldo when they go? Will he go with them?
He is. He actually tweeted saying
great.
he's going to go with them.
Cool.
Because like I said, it's not changing. It's still going to be from Full
I
Sail.
get it.
It's still going to be Triple H in charge. Like, it's not changing.
And they're not putting more money into it for the introductions and the Titantron.
Well, I'm sure. Well,
and the
no, because
special effects.
it's still Full Sail.
Okay.
It's still going to be, for now, it's still going to be at Full Sail in the studio that people enjoy.
I've never 100% wanted to live in Orlando, but if I was living in Orlando,
That'd be awesome, right?
This would be awesome.
Well,
I would go every week.
They had Impact for a long time, and it was dope for a long time.
Sure.
Impact was dope for a long time.
Okay.
And some
before
people still
Hogan and
enjoy
all them
Impact.
came in there, you mean?
What?
Before Hogan and them came in there, or?
Yeah.
Okay.
And that was the Impact Zone was in Florida then.
Yes, it was. That was a good Impact.
Yeah, because then they moved out of Florida and then they had to
Right.
go back and then they had to go back.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, it's not changing that much.
Okay.
So Moro's gonna be there.
Shout
Moro's
out
a
to
part of it.
Aaron Turner. If you're going every week, son, you better send me some things every week.
I know,
you go.
I'm jealous too, but also all those NXT kids are bummed because like they always are like the ones who share the scoops of what's going on in there, but now it's going to be live.
Right,
No
right.
need for scoopsters that are in the tapings.
Oh, that's a
'cause
good point.
We're all going to be there live.
Sorry, guys.
We're all going to watch it live. We're not going to be there live.
Welcome to progress. All right, let's move on. Ricochet and Miz taking on McIntyre and Baron Corbin. This is where I start to feel it was an okay match.
Yeah, this was fine.
This
It wasn't like anything that blew me away.
And this is where it kind of dropped a little bit for me as
Fair.
first dropping point of the night. But Ricochet got the victory, and there were some good spots, no doubt. But it just felt a bit methodical as opposed to exciting.
I just felt like one of the things I enjoyed last night was there was a lot of matches.
There was.
And there was also a lot of backstage stuff, and it never felt like there was too much of either.
Yep.
And I really thought it was a solid blend of things.
Yep.
This tag match, it was what it was. It was just a way to promote King of the Ring. No. This match wasn't. This was. It was what it was.
Yeah.
It wasn't anything that blew me away or anything like that, but it was fun for what it was.
Is this new with Corbin fighting in the, for lack of a better term, wife beater
It
shirt?
did look new, yeah.
Yeah, right? Like
It
he's
looked
not going to wear the whole thing anymore, like the button-down shirt, maybe he'll just wear that.
What'd you think of it?
I think it takes a little bit of luster off of him. I like the vests. I like the button down. It's unique. It's different. No one else is wrestling in a full outfit. That being said, it must be very difficult to wrestle. I mean, I thought Reigns wrestling in that whole thing, the Shield wrestling in that whole thing was difficult. It must be even more difficult to wrestle in a button down with all that kind of, because those aren't built for, you know what I'm saying? Maybe they can make them out of fabric.
Well, he seemed like he had that custom one that he's been wearing, which
so maybe that
I
is
didn't
made out of
dislike.
like workout fabric, but still.
But you're right. Absolutely, it's probably so much more comfortable for him.
Yeah.
I mean, even the pants is probably annoying that he's wearing.
I think the change makes him look like Brooklyn Braun. It makes him look like a jobber, and I don't like that.
It almost looks. Well, it kind of looked like tall Dean Ambrose
Yeah,
too
good
for a
point.
minute. Like
Great point.
Because he kind of had a similar look to Dean Ambrose.
Yep.
I didn't dislike it though.
Yeah.
And it was a solid preview of next week's King of the Ring matches.
Yeah.
So it was fine. I'm nothing really gonna harp on it too much.
Fair enough. All right, speaking of King of the Ring, we move on to King Booker. He is interviewed by Michael Cole about King of the Ring, gives his points of views about it, the history of it, gives a shout out to Harley Race, but also predicts Drew McIntyre winning this thing, which a lot of people are predicting. So what do you think they do with this thing? Do they actually ask Booker and don't tell him who's going to win so that he can legitimately guess? Or do you think they tell him who they think is going to win so he picks Drew as a swerve?
No,
or to make him look
they ask for his legitimate opinion.
Okay.
I'm sure he tells them ahead of time, but I'm sure they ask
who he's going to pick. Right.
But I'm sure they ask for his legitimate opinion.
All right.
And that's what I'd imagine. And I liked seeing Booker T on the show.
Hell yeah.
But I don't like Skype interviews. It's very much like a daytime morning talk show kind of thing where they do it every day, so they don't really have a choice. And so we'll just get them on. We'll just come and Skype in,
Yeah.
It doesn't look high budget to have someone Skype in my opinion. It's I don't know. To me, it doesn't present the coolest look for television. That's the producer, the television producer. Me, I just don't enjoy the Skype look on TV.
I think they're trying to appeal to the younger crowds by having that kind of thing, because people do have Skype calls all the time, and business has Skype calls all the time. So they're just trying to appeal in that way. But I absolutely get your point. It must be difficult to set up live stuff like with Steve Austin, with Booker. I don't know.
But it's just like Steve Austin, I'll accept, because it's like you do whatever you can to get Stone Cold Steve Austin on your show. to me,
With
the
Booker?
Booker T thing, it was kind of like, it was very forced.
Okay,
But
fair
whatever. I mean, I like hearing Booker T. It's fine.
Right,
I just prefer higher production value.
Yeah, and shout out to Brad Gilmore who set that up and tweeted a picture of
saw
himself helping set that up for Booker and was there during the Skype interview. And we'll see if it's Drew McIntyre. Certainly a lot of people think so, but we'll see. Braun Strowman now coming out.
I think it's Baron Corbin.
You think Baron Corbin's going to win this thing? All right.
Either Corbin or... Yeah, I think it's going to be Corbin.
I like Samoa Joe. Samoa Joe with that. Here's the payment for putting over so many people over the last few months. Here's the title. And what better person to take on the Heritage King of the Ring than someone who has that old school Harley Race vibe to it and the new school appeal. So I kind of like that.
I wouldn't hate that at all.
Yeah, I would like him with the crown, like kind of.
Just seems like Baron Corbin, just like King Corbin makes the most sense. Yeah. And he's changed his outfit now, so it fits with the robe.
Yeah, King Corbin. Yeah, I guess that
King
makes
Corbin.
Sense.
It just fits. I know.
Anyway, all right. Braun Strowman takes on AJ Styles here, which was a tease from last week when they got into it when Strowman saved Rollins from the OC. This match was for a few minutes. It was ferocious for the few minutes that it was going on.
I loved it for the few minutes we got of it.
Yeah, and
I was like,
scares the hell out of me.
I was like, I want to see these two guys wrestle each other more.
Yeah. I would be afraid for AJ. I mean, he was just getting thrown around the ring. He was holding his own at times, but Jesus Christ, like this slap when he was going for his AJ from the top rope.
Swatted him out of the air
like a fly. And that scares the hell out of me.
Or he did like the back body drop and like he was so high in the air, he almost like hit Braun Strowman for a second.
Oh my gosh.
It was brutal.
It was brutal.
But I was like, better than I would have expected. Like
Absolutely.
When I saw these two were going to wrestle each other, I go, I don't know about that.
Yeah.
But then when they wrestled, I was like, yeah, give me that for 20 minutes. Like, I want to see this David and Goliath scenario. I'm into that.
Yeah.
So I liked it. I also feel like they're doing a great job, we'll get to it, of building towards an inevitable Rollins Strowman thing. And I feel like this was a preview of kind of like what that match would look like down the line if they're actually doing long-term booking here.
Right.
Which it seems like they are. So I'm pumped on it. I actually felt like this whole thing made Braun and Seth look cool before we even got to the main event. When we had, Braun was looking like
he was going to win this
a behemoth in the ring, just ruining people.
Yeah.
Then the attack goes down.
Yeah, the OC comes in. Yeah.
And I thought Rollins, people kind of were making fun like Rollins in a backwards hat was very much like a Poochie scenario from like Simpsons, right? Was that the dog's name? But I'm like, you know what? To me, he looked like how he would actually look out in public. Like, you see him in the videos, that's what he wears.
Yeah,
like,
he wears the hat a lot.
I kind of like that he was running at full speed while putting his hat on backwards. Like, you're like, he's just like a cool guy.
He's going to work.
He's going to work,
Hey, man, Stallone does that and over the top.
It looked like he was going to fight people.
Yeah,
I was into it. And then he showed some fire in the ring. I was like, good job, Rollins. So I liked all this whole segment. And I liked the whole backstage thing where it was like, well, I'm going to get us a match later. And he's like,
all right. I dig it too, and I thought his savior, him saying to him, "We're even now, kid," or whatever he says, "We're even now, big man." And that sets up. They do go in the back, as you said. So we get this idea that they're going to fight for the titles later on against Gallows and Anderson, which we find out later Gallows and Anderson are not big fans of. And we'll discuss that in a little bit. All right, we see the first King of the Ring matchup here. Samoa Joe taking on Cesaro. Samoa Joe gets the victory here. Cesaro, good match, good back and forth. Really some hard spots for both guys. Tough spots, tough shots taken. There's no technical wrestling here. It was just move after move, power move after power move until eventually
meat on meat.
It was meat on meat until Joe eventually subdues him with a coquina clutch and walks on out of here. Does Cesaro lose anything here? Now he's back to jobbing again, and like.
What about jobbing?
Well, okay, sorry, losing again.
There we go.
I'm an extreme person. So. Either winning or jobbing. All right, go ahead.
Yeah, I would have liked to have seen him go longer in it, but I also understand Joe could gain by being King of the Ring too. Man, there were some uppercuts in that match that were just so intense. I mean, I know that's his thing anyways, but. Those two were just beating the crap out of each other. I
thought they caught each other stiff a couple of times.
Oh yeah,
on both sides.
Oh yeah,
and I was just like, man.
And I like the finish, the coquina clutch kind of happening out of nowhere when he flipped over. I really enjoyed this match. Hard hitting, good match, good. This was kind of like one of the reasons I liked Raw because it was just like good matches and good segments. That's all you need. I mean, that's
Yeah.
what I want. So, good. This was just good. As for Cesaro, to answer your question, I do think that he could have used more. I do think he would have gained more out of this, but I would have. Trying to think of who's next. It's McIntyre who they're probably facing next, right?
Yeah.
McIntyre's gonna win.
Okay.
He's gonna win the
First round upset.
Wait, who's he against?
Let me look up the bracket here. Hold on. Won't take long. King of the Ring brackets. All right, tournament bracket. Oh, WWE has the
Of course they
tournament.
do.
I appreciate that. Ricochet versus McIntyre. Oh man. Woo! Oh, $15 off select tees. Nice. So
Look ahead here.
yeah. Ricochet could pull the upset here. Certainly him and Samoa Joe have history, but Samoa Joe versus McIntyre, if McIntyre wins this thing, whoever wins between Samoa Joe and McIntyre is my pick to win the whole thing.
I mean, Ricochet, I know that everyone thinks Drew McIntyre is going to win and he's the favorite, but Ricochet beating him, going up against Samoa Joe next.
Yeah.
Then beating Joe and going up against Corbin after that, and Corbin beating Ricochet to get into the finals does make the most sense.
Do you think he beats Owens and Shane interferes?
That's good. That's a good suggestion.
Or possibly, I don't know, because I think it's going to be Owens coming out of the other side of the bracket. There's no way.
Owens and Corbin, that actually makes the most sense. Oh, it's going to be Owens and Corbin, and then
With Shane
helps Corbin win.
It's got to be
King Corbin. Oh no, we've already mapped it out.
Son of a gun. And I think it'll be Andrade versus Owens in the final on that side of the bracket.
I think so too.
Yeah, and it'd be fun. All right, so let's move on to our next match next segment. That's Elias. They show a little tape segment. He's in the studio, and then he gets attacked by R-Truth for the 24/7 title.
Well, no, he got attacked by Drake Maverick.
Drake Maverick in the studio, and then he goes to live, and he's saying this is his last performance as Elias. There's audio issues, and then R-Truth comes out, and they have a battle, but
from the darkness. His guitar tech.
But they don't transfer the title. Like R-Truth fails in his attempts to get the title back. This is interesting now.
I thought that was smart.
Yeah.
I actually thought that was smart. Because Elias shouldn't be that easy to beat.
Agreed.
They've put a lot of time into Elias. He shouldn't just be quickly getting rolled up. So I actually really enjoyed this. I thought that it made sense. It added some intrigue to Elias's run with the title because he's not a pushover who's just going to get rolled up. You're going to have to actually do something wild to beat Elias.
Yep.
So I like that.
I think so too, because he beat for the title too quickly the last couple of times.
Yep.
So this makes it seem like more of a difficult thing to achieve again, which they should do for a little bit and then go back to the changing around.
He's taking it more seriously too, which I like. Than the last time.
Yep. All right, let's get to the big emotional moment of the night. That's Rey Mysterio talking to Charlie. Who vote for her, top 50 muscle and fitness.
I think it's over now.
Is it over now?
I think so.
No more videos? All right, so Rey here in the interview with Charlie, and Rey gets all emotional talking about he's going to retire, and he's not going to do it anymore. It's like what Andrade did to him was so embarrassing, blah, blah, blah. And then Dominic comes in and talks him into debuting with him because that was his promise, and Rey agrees. So we've seen the retirement speech from Rey before. Have we? Yeah, way back when. I don't recall. It was when was it, man? It was a while where he was talking about, I don't know if I can do it anymore, blah, blah, blah. I'm not sure where it was, but I thought I've seen it before. But I don't know. This is another one. I felt like Dominic really didn't step up to the plate here.
See, I saw people saying that, and I felt the exact opposite way.
Really?
Do I think that he was like some masterful actor? No. Do I think that he had a sense of realism did he add a sense of realism to the situation and felt passionate about it?
Sure.
Absolutely. That's why he was kind of stumbling over his own words. And I honestly felt like it was more believable that way because that's what someone in that scenario would be doing, trying to convince their father, no, don't retire yet. I have dreams to be with you. I feel like a lot of people who want to work with their dad or who have worked with their dad or who look up to their fathers can all that resonates with all of them of hey, no, I want to work with you. I want to be able to tell my kids that we did this and that together, just like you were able to tell me that you were with, my grandpa in the ring. I loved all of that. I thought that it was great. And maybe it's just because of I've been wanting to see it's been so obvious they were going to bring Dominic to TV somehow. They've been trying anyways. It just kept getting screwed up in the Samoa Joe thing.
Right.
So I had already thought it was going that way anyways. And I love this being the introduction because now it gives Rey Mysterio something else to do. And you know that this is going to lead to, hopefully, in my opinion, a new kind of like LWO type thing. Maybe not the LWO, but a heel Mexican stable or a Latino stable, because Andrade was already tweeting saying like, if you want to follow a real Hispanic icon, you should follow my lead, Dominic. We're gonna get like a throwback to the Eddie of like, that's my son, not necessarily the son, but like,
right.
If you want to follow a real hero, you should follow me. I'm what's up right now, and then that this is gonna lead to like them debuting together or something, and Dominic beating up Rey Mysterio and saying, you weren't there for me, you were never home, you weren't there, you let Eddie Guerrero say he was my father. My whole life, everyone didn't even think you were my dad because you let everyone think Eddie Guerrero was my dad, and it's gonna be awesome.
Yeah. The other possibility is he loses or keeps taking the pins and then turns on Rey in that way. You didn't train me right. You suck. You blah, blah, blah. And the other people have been in his ear whispering, telling him like, Rey doesn't want you to eclipse him. He would be jealous that Rey's left such that no one's ever been able to beat Rey, like eclipse Rey in terms of popularity. The last thing he'd want is his son to do it. So they get into his ears at a young age with the younger wrestlers doing that stuff. That totally works.
And he's all hipstered out already.
Yeah.
He's not like he's not going to be, well, we don't know, but I feel like he's going to be much more in line with Andrade's ideals. He's wearing like, cool guy clothes and all that kind of stuff.
The glasses need some help, but I liked
it's the same glasses you're wearing right now.
No, these are better glasses. They never go with gold wire rims. They're terrible. Two things to tell you if you're even remotely watching this, Dominic. Always cheat to the camera. And second thing, bring it if you're going to go with a seasoned performer because you're going to look deficient in comparison. I think that's what didn't help him. Rey was really bringing it with the emotion. And
Rey had me believing that he was going to retire for a second.
Hell yeah, dude.
It was like a Mark Henry level where I was like, is he going to retire right now?
Yeah. So there you go. So that's what I would say. Make sure you cheat. This is a quarter turn. That's all you need. Just a quarter turn. Stumble over all the words you want. Just a quarter turn so we can see what's happening. All right. New Day and the Revival go at it here. Back and forth. Good match until Randy interferes in this match. RKO's Big E. Then he and the Revival start to beat up New Day. Kofi comes down, does that awesome jump through the middle rope thing that he does. Tries to do what he can, but then he gets an RKO.
Sick RKO too.
Yeah, from Randy.
Took that like a face, like the way he did it, almost like it was a DDT, like the way he landed. That was intense.
He put those legs up. It was great. And then he gets held down to watch them injure Xavier Woods, which is great. Apparently, Big E took one RKO and could not get up at all to help at all. But everybody, this all set this thing up. So, all right. Do you like this? Is keep furthering this feud between him and Randy, even though it was an unsatisfying SummerSlam match?
I think that it needed some new juice to it. And I think that the pairing of Randy Orton and Revival is
works.
Awesome idea.
Yeah.
They're both old school mentality guys. All three are very old school mentality guys. Obviously, the Revival love Randy Orton's family and that pedigree. So I think it's a perfect pairing. We already saw how well the Revival can do as a group or as part of a group. As they were with Shane and Drew McIntyre, and that kind of went away. I think that this is the best thing for them would be to kind of like be the new legacy of these three. And obviously that doesn't make sense legacy-wise because they're not all the sons of famous wrestlers, but of that mentality of like, these are Randy Orton's, they're the guys who do his dirty work for him, you know? I love that. I think it worked then. I think it'll work now. Yeah. I also like it because it's funny because it's like three guys who are all friends with the AEW people. So it's like a little like, like AEW friendly crowd over there, So I loved it. I thought it was great.
Me too. I thought it was a good way to keep people interested in this feud who are maybe still a little upset about how that SummerSlam match was decided. So this keeps this thing going, and maybe that's why, because they wanted this to last a little bit longer than a straight up victory by Kofi. So
I think that is what it is.
Yeah, you see the logic, and that makes sense because Randy is milking it in such a great way. Him sitting on the corner doing his old school stuff, that was great to see again.
Telling them to go over.
Yeah, and do the same thing. Yeah, exactly. That was awesome. All right, so then we go to that point where Sasha does eventually get interviewed, and that's with Michael Cole. I know you tweeted about this. I didn't like your tweet. I was upset about it, but it was.
Which one?
About the blue hair. Yeah, I didn't think that was a funny joke at all.
What?
Yeah.
That was one of the funniest Michael Cole lines in so long.
Everyone's talking about the blue hair, Michael Cole.
That's why it was so funny.
I didn't think it was funny. Don't bash Sasha, Michael. Don't you dare. Anyway, here's where I say to you that I get concerned. Social media wise, they can go at each other. Promo wise, though, Becky is almost untouchable. Sasha did a nice job here, but Sasha's never been known for incredible promos. And
she has.
I want her to get to that level where she's
Heel Sasha cut great promos.
Okay, but did you think this was a great promo that matched what Becky did?
No, but I don't. Yeah. But you're also leaving out the great part after, though.
Okay, with the walking out.
No.
The
with
thank you,
Natalya stuff.
Oh, we'll get to that. But I want to talk about the promo first.
So no, this promo was. But I don't think it was intended to be the I don't think it was intended to be the hard-hitting promo that we wanted.
Okay.
I think they're leaving us hanging on that.
I want that soon.
Because it would have been very cliche for her to come out and be like, I'm tired of not getting the opportunity. Right. It would have been so cliche for her to do that. Instead, she came out and was like above it, like, I don't care. Like, everyone's talking about my hair, which I thought was entertaining.
Okay.
Yes, it left me wanting more. But also, there was no way she was going to cut a better promo than that Becky Lynch one.
True.
Regardless of how confident I am in Sasha Banks' promo skills, it was just that was such a good promo that I think that it was almost better that it was clear that there's something Sasha's not telling us.
Okay, good.
Because she clearly wants to. She's got more to say. She's been dropping all these hints on social media. The second she attacks Natalya, we'll just get to.
Let's just get to it. Yeah, because this is where it went to another level for me, and I was happy afterwards.
So Natalya's cut her promo. Sasha Banks comes in, attacks her again, says like, "Oh, crybaby, what?" or something like that, and throws her into the locker room or into the locker or whatever, or the storage bins or whatever, and then drops an intense line where she says, go to hell, Natty, and tell your daddy I said hi.
Boom.
And to me, I go, we're gonna get there. There's longer story being played here. And when she said the whole crybaby thing, to me, it was like, okay, this is where her intention is gonna be. This is where the character is gonna be built upon of like, she thinks that people thought we're calling her a crybaby or whatever. So that to me, the vibe that we're getting here, and she doesn't want to say it because she doesn't want to be quote unquote gotten to.
Right.
So it's like, nah, dude, hair. Everyone's talking about blue hair. Don't know what you're talking about. And she's gonna speak louder with her actions than her words, in my opinion. Although the go to hell and tell your daddy I said hi speaks louder than any promo she was gonna say. That was intense, and that's why I think that she didn't need to explain herself yet.
Okay, that's fair. I think hearing you talk about it makes sense to me. Feels right. And I enjoyed that line as well. I tweeted back at your tweet about it with the fountain Hugh Jackman, because the heel Sasha rather is my favorite Sasha, is the best Sasha, and it's been a while since we've seen it. And Becky kind of took credit for it, which kind of wrinkled my nerves a little bit, which is a great promo. It's supposed to make you feel one way or another about something, and I like that. But I'm looking forward. But I want to ask you this question because it occurs to me as I was watching this and as you're talking about it. People started doing the what chants during Natty's thing.
Yeah, I know. And it was about her dad.
I think Natty is inessential to this and should be moved out of the way. Having her attack Natty again, I get that it further enforces that she's a heel, but having Natty is kind of muddling it right now. Like, who are you going after, Natty or Becky? Like, what is the situation? So to me, that's my concern here with Natty being a part of this. Maybe destroying her for a little bit. We won't see her for a while.
You know what I think is kind of
I hope it doesn't lead to a triple threat match.
You know what I look at it as is like Star Wars, where like the Emperor uses someone else to kind of like. To kind of bring someone up to their level, like Palpatine would use like Anakin, and he'd drop these like words into Anakin's brain to kind of mind ninja Anakin, which is kind of what Becky's doing to Sasha, and Sasha's only getting amped up more and taking out her anger on Natty.
Yeah.
So I feel like it's kind of like that, where like
interesting,
where it's kind of like where eventually like Anakin isn't Anakin helped Palpatine in the Samuel L. Jackson fight, right?
Yes, he does. So at the end there.
I think it's going to be something along those lines where she's since we're getting more of like the man again, who's a tweener to a certain degree, I feel like she's kind of like Jedi mind tricking the situation,
There we
like a
go.
Palpatine. So
Okay, all right.
I don't hate it. I think it's. I like that it's kind of like little puzzle pieces.
But if the fans are turning on Natty, and they really shouldn't be, and because she's supposed to be the full-on
sympathetic baby
face here, I don't know if that's in the long run the smart avenue to go, and I wonder if they'll listen to the fans and make the adjustment or not.
Well, it's tough. She's just like Big Show, where sometimes they just assume that you're just going to accept that she's
like
a heel
Kane.
and she's a face.
Yeah,
She's a heel,
right.
she's a face. She's like whatever they want, and it's like, well, sometimes she was just a heel.
Yeah.
It's hard to kind of
Right.
quickly switch back.
Yeah.
I also it's been so long since I've watched Sasha Banks' NXT run, but I believe there was something in her promo that was referencing her old thing with Becky Lynch on NXT TV.
Right.
Because she said something like, when I looked in the mirror. She kept talking about when I looked in the mirror.
Yeah.
And if I recall correctly, their whole thing back in the day, it was a lot of like promos where they were talking in the mirror together, and she helped get, if I recall, like back then, Sasha helped bring out Becky from her shell on NXT
Yeah,
TV.
what was Becky doing? What is there truth to what Becky said where she said, how come I worked harder to get you into the WWE than you did? What is that all about? Is there some behind the scenes stuff where Becky was championing Sasha to the higher ups to get Sasha more time on NXT or anything like that? Because
I don't know.
Feels like the reference, unless she's referencing Sasha coming back after the 4-month hiatus.
That's how I took it. Was that she was referencing Sasha coming back after the hiatus.
All right.
But all around, this is starting, in my opinion,
Yes.
to become the hottest feud in WWE again.
Hell yeah.
Like, they're killing it.
And Becky better get ready, because there is stuff in her past and her matches and her promos that Sasha could have a field day with. And so to me, that excites me, because that means both of them are going to get at each other. It might feel a little real at times, which is genius. Those are the best.
Also, they changed the shirt and they made the shirt blue.
Oh,
Instead of purple.
Good.
I saw that and I was like, that was smart of them.
Yep, very smart of them. Absolutely. All right, let's move on to Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross to fighting Mandy. And this is another match that I was just like,
It was all right.
Yeah,
Yeah, it was all right.
It did nothing to really further them, I think, in the long run, but it was giving them screen time as champions, and Nikki needs as much screen time as possible.
Do complain that the women's tag champions weren't on the shows.
That's
They got
fair.
the women's tag champions on the shows.
Absolutely fair. Although the mention of the wild card came in here, I was like, nobody cares anymore. Stop mentioning it.
Just don't bring it up.
Just schedule matches that we want to enjoy.
We realize the brand split's over for now.
Yeah, exactly.
Or you guys just don't care and you're going to use someone if you want to use someone.
Right. So, but yeah, it was good to see them had good chemistry. I felt like Mandy and Sonya didn't have that electricity that they've had before, so I wonder if they are trying to figure out what they want to do with them overall. What is your feeling?
Yeah, it's a fair question. I don't know. I mean, I'll be honest. I had trouble connecting with this match.
Yeah.
I really did. There was a lot going on this show. There was a lot of cool things happening. And it was what it was. I think it was good because there are people who were mad the women's tag champions are never on the show. So now they're on the show. So
True.
plus there, I guess.
All right, fair enough. All right, let's move on here to finally Cedric Alexander and Sami Zayn. That's our other King of the Ring match of the night. Good match. Sami Zayn coming out talking about how I've been losing lately. I don't want to lose anymore. I'm going to fight. I'm going to give Cedric all he can handle, and I'm going to get this victory. But you tweeted about Cedric working with Paul Heyman. Is that correct? And you had an interview with him. You want to promote that?
So I interviewed Cedric Alexander over the weekend. We put it up yesterday on the site, which is pretty cool. I'm not going to lie. WWE isn't often giving interviews to wrestling sites.
Sure.
So I was very thankful and very appreciative of the fact that they did that. So please go read it, share it if you can. It helps me out a lot if you just share it. I want to have as many shares on it as possible so I keep getting future interviews. And then maybe I can do interviews like on the shows as opposed to just text interviews. So keep share it if you can. Go read it. I appreciate it. I don't write a lot of long form things on the site, but I'm trying to do more of them. Those are the things that I am passionate about. It's just sometimes I don't always have the right subject matter to be able to do it. I actually have an idea for my next one, though. I don't want to forget. I'm going to write it down when we leave here.
All right.
But please go read that. And yes, in the interview, we talked about Cedric. We talked about King of the Ring, what it means to him being in it. Some of his favorite King of the Ring memory growing up. But within all of that, he talked about how Paul Heyman has been working with him behind the scenes, and how because a lot of people are saying like, oh, I don't know what role they're going to have on the show, but he was much more firm about the fact that like, Paul Heyman's been working with him. Now, Paul Heyman has been passing along little show business quirks to him and just kind of like little things that he can do while talking on camera, while, doing interviews and stuff like that on camera to make him feel more comfortable. And he said like the advice that Paul Heyman has been giving him has been invaluable. It's a good interview, I think. I know I did it. I'm biased, but it was fun to do at least. So
sometimes to get better, you have to put your pride down and go ask people who've done it for a while for advice. And if they're willing to give it to you, listen. And apply it.
Well, it's funny because people always go like, "Oh, main event." Everyone rolls, "Oh, who's watching main event?" Paul Heyman was watching main event one day when he was backstage at WWE because he was working there at the time still, and was watching main event because he was there anyways, and saw a match between Cedric Alexander and Bobby Roode that he liked. And he decided to kind of start working with Cedric Alexander to help him take him to the next level. And now Cedric Alexander has been given huge opportunities on Monday Night Raw. So absolutely. And this was one of them. I'm so glad Cedric won. I mean, I don't think he's going to win next week. But it would be awesome it'd be awesome if they did a story of like Cedric Alexander and Buddy Murphy both making their way to the finals. They're both underdogging until they get to the end, and then they have like one of the dope kind of like 205 Live matches that they had for the finals, just like really show up. But we'll see. I don't have a ton of faith in that happening.
Okay, fair enough. Could be interesting. Where does Sami Zayn go from here? I wonder.
I feel like he's Teflon. He's not losing a lot by losing, I don't think.
All right. The Street Profits do a fun little promo here in the back talking about Braun, Strowman, and Rollins. Call them Brawlins, which I thought was really funny.
We'll skip this one only because I can see them staring at us over there. We only got a few more minutes.
Okay, fair enough. Then we'll jump into this final match, and that's Rollins and Strowman taking on Gallows and Anderson. Rollins end up getting the victory here. This was a good match. Not a great match.
I just really like the chemistry of the team between Seth Rollins and Braun Strowman.
Surprising.
They had a cool vibe together. And I feel like they've done a great job of getting Braun back to where he needs to be. And he's on track, in my opinion, to be Universal Champion again in the near future.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I think he'll be the one that dethrones Seth Rollins.
Okay. All right. That's a fair possibility. But what does this do for the OC now, taking these two belts off Gallows? You just worked all this time to promote them and put them back up.
You re-sign them, and then you're like, thanks for re-signing his titles. Never mind.
Yeah, because Cole even said it took a long time for them to, they were kind of lost, and then got involved with AJ, and now they're back up in this thing, and then you have them lose.
It depends on the follow-up. If they're now going to be in a program with Seth Rollins and Braun Strowman,
that's good.
Great for them.
Yes, true.
If they're not, and they're just kind of like
AJ's lackeys?
Bad. Yeah. It's like, what was all that for?
Yeah, they essentially become the B team for Miz.
Yes.
And that's not a good thing.
No. And because of their attack on Braun and how much they were able to kind of, I feel like it's not going to be lackeys.
Okay.
I hope that they're going to get a good program out of this, which would be great for everybody.
Let them heal it up if they're heels. Let them heal it up, which means attacking Braun in a brutal, uncomfortable way. Like, really sell the OC if you're going to sell the OC. Make them brutal. Because to me, I'm always this. The more brutal someone goes, the more you're going to cheer for them when they turn face. Because you're willing to go with their commitment to whatever they decide to do, because they're going to put just as much ferocity to being a face as they are a heel. And so I think go full on.
I also wonder what this means for Clash of Champions. Because,
good point.
Like, Seth Rollins now holds two of the Raw titles.
True.
Is he going to be in two matches at Clash of Champions?
He would do it.
He would.
He would do it.
He would.
All right, before we wrap up, let's address what you said. Vic, what's his name? Vic, no, the guy that took...
I liked him. I thought he did a good job.
Yeah, you did. You liked it?
I thought he did a really good job of, taking the lead when given the opportunity.
Cole let him do the call.
I feel like him and Renee would be a good team.
Yeah.
I guess they want a third person all the time. Him and Renee and Corey would not be a bad team, in my opinion.
Yeah. So, it's not bad for Cole to move off. Maybe he senses that too. He's a little out of step with what's happening, in my opinion. I think he's a great guy who did it for many, many years, but I think he's a little out of step, a little old, and so why not move on, let the younger guys kind of step in and see what they can do with it. But then again, Raw is like the anchor show, right? So you want that kind of decades-long person in charge of it or running it. So we'll see. Or calling it
more because he's he has to kind of oversee all the announcers, and there's so many shows now. Maybe he just doesn't have. He just wants more time to be able to focus on all the
Yeah,
you know, all the shows.
Cole, right. If it's Cole and what's his name, Vic again?
Mm-hmm. Vic Joseph.
Vic Joseph and Renee, are you okay with this? And Corey goes to like NXT for the USA
I don't want Corey to
run?
go back to NXT. Corey's the best announcer in WWE right now.
I agree.
That'd be so stupid.
I 1,000% agree. Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Just wanted, you know, or maybe they're working him out on Raw to see how he does. Maybe move him over to NXT in that third slot, maybe.
No, because Vic does a lot of shows already.
Okay.
He does NXT UK. He does 205 Live.
Okay. But that's what I mean. You're moving into the USA on NXT. It's a little more visibility.
I feel like Beth's been doing a really good job on commentary on NXT. You don't want to get rid of Morrow. And
Yeah,
they
you're
like
not getting rid of
Nigel.
Morrow.
So I don't see them messing with the NXT team.
Fair enough. Well, okay. So do you think he'll step up to Raw?
Who?
Vic, and then move Cole back?
I don't.
Where's Vic go? He just stays where he's at. This was just a nice preview of what he can do.
Probably.
All right, fair enough. All right, well, we'll see what happens with all of that down the road, but that's been our Raw recap. Thanks, everyone, for watching or listening to this Raw recap. It's always a blast to hear your comments, both positive and negative, about what we have to say on the show. Ryan, tell them where they can read, watch, and listen to everything we do.
ProWrestlingSheet.com. That's the website where you can find all the top stories in the world of professional wrestling throughout the week. At Wrestling Sheet on social media, youtube.com/d/Wrestling Sheet. Subscribe, like the videos, comment. I read them, I respond to some of them, so please keep doing that. I appreciate it a lot, but subscribe to the channel. It helps. We've been growing in numbers, and I appreciate it very, very much, so keep doing that. But if you want to just listen while you're on the road, working out, cooking, doing whatever, subscribe on the podcast platforms. Any podcast platform will probably have it. Just search Wrestling Sheet Radio.
There you go. Follow him at Ryan Satin. Follow me at The Rocha Says, and we'll talk to you tomorrow with a SmackDown Live recap on Pro Wrestling Sheet.
ProWrestlingSheet.com